Alright, hey y'all, everybody. Good morning. I'm up early and I'm in a good mood. I just have to say, I fucking hate it when people are just close minded as fuck. But, like, how do I put this? It's always the people who actually do have an agenda trying to accuse the gay people of having an agenda. Like, no. Like, the gay people are just kind of like, hi, I'm here, I'm queer, and I want to exist. And then it's always the other motherfuckers who are like, oh, hey, fuck you, bitch. Why do you get a parade just to be who you are? None of us else get that. And then, like, you have to kind of like baby step these people through it. You have to explain gay pride exists because everyone else gets all the parades in the world to be drunk and in love with their partners. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. You're gonna have motherfuckers running through the streets, fucking, there's gonna be alcohol everywhere, people dancing up a storm, people acting an ass in public and having a great time and with their loved ones and with their friends and family being accepted. Fucking cool. It's just an excuse to drink. Mardi Gras came by. You had bad bitches flashing their tits in the street and being given beads and all that, being able to wear the skimpiest of outfits and being able to have a blast. Like, also with their loved ones getting drunk and getting tipsy. So pride exists because guess what? All of the people who, like, all the other like 364 days of the year are just like, oh, I have to pretend to be straight at my job so that I don't get harassed. I have to pretend that I am either not transitioning or that I have never in my life transitioned. Like, they have to go full boy motor, or like if they not that, then they have to give a 100% like undetectable performance of being whatever gender they're trying to fully become, so that they don't get like hate crimed or disrespected unnecessarily. The world is not that nice of a place, and I appreciate that there are people who, despite their closed-mindedness, are at least open to having conversations about that, because that's all we want. Like, and so that's why I always get pissed off when people say, oh, there's no straight pride parade. There are parades all across the world, everywhere, where if you wanted to kiss your partner in person, if you wanted to dress skimpy, if you wanted to act an ass or act a mess or get buck wild and go crazy and go stupid and not be shamed for who you are, excluding maybe at work the next day when you're hungover and smell like fucking whiskey, then you're free to do that. So that's why I'm okay with gay pride parades. I don't give a shit. Like, oh no, someone closed off a block or so that they could dance around in thongs to like fucking RuPaul's Drag Race music and kiss their partner and wear rainbows. Like, instead of being at their job, or even if they wear the slightest bit of pink or dare to have clean hands or chapstick, the other people are gonna start calling them slurs. Like, okay, someone wants to walk down the street proudly and not be called fucking slurs and wear what they want and embrace who they are and feel fucking good. I'm never gonna get mad at that. We can have our conversations about the nuances of like the pride parades and like the kink and nudity and stuff, and like we can have those conversations, but for now I'm just saying I want the first step to be let it happen and be cool with it, and that's all I fucking need. But I, like, how do I put this, I got mad as fuck because a second ago someone online was like, ooh, like some fake person they saw this book that was called the GayBCs, and they were like, oh, see, this is pushing an agenda. This is fucking disgusting. This is vile. I read the fucking preview pages of the book, and I was like, okay, this person on this account is supposedly, allegedly gay. So, but, I'm gonna check it out myself. I read it. It was the most fucking harmless book I've read in the history of my life. It's like, A is for ally, which means it's a friend. B is for boyfriend, which some people have, and it's like, okay, I don't give a fuck. It's like, cool. It's like a harmless line art book that just is the alphabet, but with like words that let you know that, hey, you can be accepted for whoever you are and whoever you like later in life, kid. Like, it's a perfect book to show to like kids who are in families that are blended and have people across all different backgrounds. It's a perfect, like, if you think your kid might be gay, it's a good book to let them know, hey kid, I accept you. If you, like, there was nothing wrong with the book, but you had people in the comments who were fucking straight, and that's what pisses me off. They were like, oh, this book is disgusting, it's pushing an agenda, it's vile. Why do you want to sick this shit on kids? No, bitch. Some of y'all only see gay people as an issue because you yourself did not get exposure to them. So you fucking shit on everything they do because you grew up in a fucked up ass environment. Because you are the type of person that thinks, oh yeah, if I have a girl, Fuck that shit. It's either a boy or an abortion. Yeah, boys, let's chug beers, let's go crazy. And then your family would, even if you just wore a pink colored shirt, your family would think you were fucking disgusting. Some of y'all grew up in fucked up homes. And so that's why you can't accept the gays, because you don't want to open your mind. You don't want to release the ego and be open to things that are outside of the realm of your acceptability. And that pisses me off. Like, for example, I remember at my one of my old jobs, I was a concierge, and this one bitch who definitely should not have been working there. She was just ghetto from toe up from the flow up, a fucking bitch. I don't even say the word ghetto because I think it's offensive and anti-black. But you know how bad she must have been if I just flung that out of my mouth right now. I'm gonna say it. She noticed that there was a trans person in the building who I also recognized, but I'm not gonna tell you how. Let's just say I look at certain websites. It's okay. Do what you gotta do for the money, baby. Either way. But my coworker at the time, she was like, that's obviously a man. I don't see why they just can't, like, just be a boy. Why are you trying to pretend to be a woman? Just be a boy. That's nasty as fuck. That's weird. Like, and also they were saying all types of transphobic shit, this, that, and the other. But then once they finally said it out loud, they were just like, I just don't get it. Like, why can't they just be a boy who likes girl shit? Why they gotta pretend to be a woman? That's weird, and I don't like that. That's when I was like, I'm non-binary and shit, and I have all my little complex gender nuances, but I know how to talk to people who are straight like this. And I just told her with the calmest voice ever, but a lot of rage in my system to propel this conversation, because sometimes I can brush off certain conversations, but once it hits a certain point, I'm like, I need to get involved. I said, oh, because they would get fucking murdered. She was like, what? I said, yeah, they would get killed. Like, we all know that type of person where they're like, oh yeah, fuck gay people, fuck trans people. Like, and I had to tell her, there are people out there who would literally beat them to death in the streets if they even thought for a second that they were a biological man underneath all the makeup and surgery. That's why they get the makeup and surgery, to make themselves more feminine, to be accepted into society, to look the way they want to look and be the way they want to be. There are people who can get their lives ruined over it, and it's messed up because it's just like, it's clothes and makeup, right? Which I think everyone has the right to wear if they want to. Not everyone has to like clothes or makeup. And I told her, like, everyone has makeup and clothing that they hate seeing other people wear. It doesn't mean that it's inherently bad to do so. It's just their right. But I made it clear. I was even like, hey, for all we know, maybe they would even be fine with identifying as like a boy or whatever. Psst, intermission. I'm just saying this because it's the easiest way to say to straight people. I know that's not the full trans experience. Let me be clear. But anyway, let's continue with the story. I told her, some people, like, for all we know, they probably would go around identifying as a boy or their assigned gender at birth, if not for the world being a cruel place. Like, people can lose jobs over it, people can lose opportunities. Like, you can really get murdered in the street just because someone decided, I don't like what you're wearing, and then they can get their lives taken. So they have to put on the most ultimate performance of, like, being a woman. Like, with the voice and with this, it's a constant act of femininity, because if they slip up even a tiny bit and get suspected, they could lose everything, and that should not happen for them. And you'd be messed up if that happened to you, right? And she was like, I never saw it that way. And I was like, yeah. I even told her, there's this one YouTuber I've loved for years. I've known them since I was a little girl, and they were a makeup channel, and they did makeup and hair care and all this and that, very popular. And once they reached a certain level of fame, they just finally came out and said, guess what, I'm actually trans. And it shook a whole bunch of people, but at the same time, it really did, like, people, yeah, they lost some followers indeed, but they still had enough people who were like, oh, I wasn't sure about this before, but now that I know it's you and you're someone I love and care about, this really changed my perspective on trans people. But I made it clear, like, if they were clear, like, I'm a boy who wears women's clothing, then they would not have the opportunities they would have today because of discrimination, right? And then she actually was like, I never thought of it that way. And she actually seemed genuinely touched. She was like, oh, okay. Like, for some reason, it just never clicked in her mind that, like, hate crimes are still a thing that very much happen because of the mindsets that she and others spew and spout. And I was happy to tell her that, and she seemed a lot more accepting whenever that person came around. Like, just because she didn't agree with it didn't mean that she was going to be one of those people who's always going to talk shit. She was like, okay, that's that little motherfucker over there who likes what they like. with the little BBL and the lip gloss, and I'm gonna treat them like any other person I'd see with the BBL and lip gloss, regardless of their gender. And I'm just happy that conversation was able to be had, but it still sucks the circumstances. Like, and that's why I always appreciate whenever I get a chance to open people's mindsets. That's why I'm such a vulnerable person myself, because I want people to know. The world will not get better if people do not know certain things. Like, for example, just like a few times last week, I remember I was talking to this one dude, and I was talking to him about, like, the hygiene issues I tend to have when I'm depressed, and he was like, I don't see how you can do that. Like, oh my god, you do what in those cups? And I was like, oh, so you mean to tell me you're shocked that the same mental disorder that makes people, like, fucking kill themselves in front of trains, or like slit their wrists and bleed out in bathtubs, you're shocked that the same disability that makes people want to fully take their lives is like the same disability that might make someone not want to brush their teeth all the time because they're too focused on wanting to die. And he was stunned silent. He was really fucked up off that. He was like, I never saw it that way. And so now he's nicer about it. You never know what someone's going through. Anyway, to finish off this video, I'm just gonna say it. A bunch of people have fucked up mindsets about the LGBT solely since they don't know anything about it and don't want to know anything about it. And also, the most they've been exposed to is like what? Shitty one off jokes from like 90s and 2000s movies about gay people where they're the comic relief and obviously the mockery. Like, if the joke is just, ha, that motherfucker is gay, then it's like, that's not a joke, that's just homophobia. Just fun fact. Fun fact. Two, they grew up in fucked up families with fucked up mindsets around everything. So, like, for example, some people are the types where it's like, oh, okay, if you were a little girl, you'd get slapped in the mouth for looking at the lip gloss aisle too long because your family would assume that you're thinking about boys, and you weren't. But if they found out that you were gay, they would happily send you to a conversion camp so that they could have you get tortured into pretending to be straight, which is awful. Awful. And then on top of that, yeah, it's just the world is a very fucked up place. And some of y'all only don't like gay people because the best you know about gay people is from Tumblr cringe compilations or from like fucked up movies from the early 2000s where they were the butt of the joke, or made up just mockery and fucked up jokes that your family who have never interacted with gay people would make because they fucking hate gay people. And then you wonder why you grow up and you instantly cringe the second you meet someone who's secure in their sexuality or just entirely fine with their identity or has kids who are fine with it. Yeah, you don't like that shit because you don't bother to get out your shell. And that's your fucking problem, and you need to stop making it everyone else's problem. Because you should not be out here downvoting a book because it's like, oh, hey kids, being gay is actually like not bad. And if you want to, we will support you. And if you're not, at least you know that gay people exist. And in an environment that is not a toxic way about learning about gay people, like yaoi. Some people didn't learn about gay people existing until yaoi or porn, and they have fucked up mindsets because of it. So why would I get mad about a book that tells the ABCs where it's just a neutral environment that in no way is sexual or perverse or vulgar or violent? So yeah, people are just making up an issue and projecting. That's all it fucking is. And I wish people would stop. Makes me fucking sick, and I'm tired of it. Oh, so yeah. Also, I'm also gonna say this: if you're someone who's gay or LGBT or claims like any of it, be open to conversations, because if you're one of those people who shut people down as well, you're not making it better for anybody. You know, like, how do I put this? Because if I were still like before I was non-binary, I remember I was just thinking this shit is confusing and weird until I finally had the right person sit me down and go, "Oh," and they explained it to me in a way that was so calm and professional and sweet that it changed my fucking gender entirely. Like, holy shit. Like, I kind of have a joke where it's like, holy shit, I felt like I was a Manchurian candidate because you said one fucking sentence and you just totally flipped a switch in my brain off the bat in a good way. Like, hell yeah. Wonderful. And I wish more people would be open to conversations like that, but they're also afraid of the person they may turn into and all that. Because I also have this other friend who I'll mention now. I remember when I first met them, they were like, straightest of the straight, like football player, sexy type, goes to the gym, very handsome. And they were cool. But then over time, they were like, hey, Over time, me and them were talking about fashion and stuff, and they were like, I don't know, the world thinks I'm gay because I paint my nails or want to wear like flared pants from the 70s or maybe even some heels sometime. And I was like, you would look good as fuck in those. And he was like, really? I didn't think women would like that. And I said, yeah, there are women out here who will fuck. Dude, women are dying for men to wear crop tops and flared pants again. We are dying for more sexy men who wear chain jewelry and rings and necklaces and open shirts. And they start experimenting with their fashion more and more and more. And then once they, how do I put this? Once you get rid of certain limitations, the world gets 10 times easier for you. And I hadn't talked to that person in years until I remember sometime last year I saw them on the internet and I was like, holy shit, this person is trans now? And it's like, wow, a lot of doors got open. But I was happy as fuck for them. Now they're happy as fuck. Nice hair, nice skin, makeup, everything glistening. And it's like, hell yeah, I'm glad they got to embrace who they are. Some conversations are necessary, and I feel bad for people who don't want to have them because they're afraid of the person they might reveal. Trust me, I have so many gay friends who pretend to be straight. It's like, it's okay, bro. We know you sucked that. We know you fucked your best friend like 5 times. There's nothing wrong with it. It's definitely gay, but there's nothing wrong with being gay. But it definitely is also toxic to say that it's not gay because it just adds a, it just, it's like you're just acting like it's a problem when it's not, and you should, yeah. But I know coming out as gay also means a lot of effort. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna have to kick out my straight friends who I've had my whole life who definitely hate gay people. Now I'm gonna have to confront how I've dealt with women. And then they have to confront like a bunch of shit that they've been pushing into a closet for fucking years. Some people never want to do that. They prefer to keep their homophobic friends while also secretly sucking dick. And yeah, also relevant. I get it though. Like there are people out there who are violently homophobic and closed-minded. So I also understand why some people would stay in the closet because they don't want to lose out on certain opportunities and stuff. So I can't judge too hard. But at the same time, if you knew how many gay people were out there pretending to be straight or just refusing to come out the closet but keeping up the homophobic facade, then you would be like, oh, if all of you came out at the exact same time, the world would have to instantly make room for you. And you would learn, oh, I can still be friends with all my friends because my friends are secretly gay. I can kick out these motherfuckers because I got these niggas out here who I could still get a beer with, still hang with, still do all the same shit of like basketball, sports, all that. And we can also freely talk about taking it in the ass or like how we love men with veins on their fucking arms. Your life does not have to change for the worse, and I feel like people need to work to make it better. And that's why I'm not gonna shut the fuck up about it because I, I just know there's an alternate reality where I could have been born a man. I would probably be dead or in jail. My life would be awful. I would be suicidal all the fucking time. So I guess it's a blessing that I was born as a woman because it's like, okay, like I'm seen as a non-threat to men and I'm seen as an ally to women. And so I'm just kind of like a neutral place for people to be like, hey, Tamia, I heard from my friends, like, what's a neo pronoun? Or what's it mean to be gender fluid? And they can ask me questions and I'll explain it in a calm manner. Why? Because they're not my enemy and I'm not theirs. And that's the main thing. So that's why I'm always going to be pissed off whenever I meet someone who's like, it's not my job to educate and teach you. It would be nice if you could at least try. Because if you don't try, that's how. Because if someone didn't try years ago, I probably would just be the most confusing straight woman on this planet who wondered why they wanted a dick so much and wondered why they got so much euphoria when they looked like a man. I'm just saying. So yeah, I like to have the necessary conversations. I don't care what hate comments I get. I don't care what fucked up weird little DMs I get. I don't care as long as I'm breaking stereotypes and making it clear that you can be loved for who the fuck you are. Always gonna talk about it. Fuck y'all. Anyway, so yeah, peace out. Address yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Love you.